Why, hello there. So, today I'm going to be reviewing my mom's 2024 Cybertruck. Well, that wasn't planned. No, today I'm reviewing my mom's 2024 Ford Maverick. So, she got this new maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and, well, I'm probably not much of a fan of trucks, but I'm going to ignore that for now, okay? Let's just go over how has the truck been. Has it been good? Has it been reliable? Well, it only has 3,900 miles on it, so that reliability part is a question. But how has it been? Well, I drove from Los Angeles, California to Clearwater, Florida, and that's 2,500 miles of freeway driving, and I've averaged 46 miles per gallon on average. I drive at 60 miles per hour in this specific vehicle on the freeway. I would go at 55 if it was somewhat easy to do that, but being that the freeways here tend to travel faster than California, I can't exactly go 55. Either way, complaints I have are, number one, the screen here. It's not pointed up towards your face, it's pointed like this. What's wrong with that? The problem is, it's somewhat difficult to see the screen. Okay, not see the screen, you can see it. It's not very clear like that. Let's see if I can show you about the backup camera and screen here. You see, it's not pointed up towards you. This is slightly slanted towards you, but this is just literally flat. So it's not a very good viewing angle. Another complaint I have is the backup camera. It is not very good. What I mean by not very good is the quality of the backup camera. I don't know if you can see, but the camera sucks, alright? When I mean it sucks, I mean it looks like 144p or something along that line. That's not a bad thing. You can still see in it. But I would expect better out of these trucks go upwards of $50,000 if you get a high-end model. How has the screen worked? Well, the screen has been... Why is my phone not focusing? The screen has been alright. So, it keeps disconnecting from Android Auto. Doesn't matter what phone I plug into it. It says Android Auto... No, it says the USB device you plugged in is not responding. So, that aspect of the screen doesn't work. Almost took it to the dealer to get it fixed, and then that finally started working again. And it's happened 2 times since then. It's been really weirdly buggy, and I don't exactly understand why. And to add to that, the screen also stops responding at times, which is as well somewhat annoying. And then I thought, oh, maybe I just need to restart the screen. Well, you can't do that while driving. I thought, oh, maybe it's like the Mitsubishi Mirage, where I just hold this button down for like 3 or 4 seconds and it restarts. No, it doesn't. Can't hold 2 of them down either. It just doesn't restart. You can't turn it off and turn it back on. Oh, wait, that actually turned it on right now. That was kind of weird. But you can't turn it off while you're driving, which is somewhat annoying. Because we're in Florida, all of a sudden it's raining. Another thing to note is the center screen gets really hot, like uncomfortably hot when you touch it. I don't know why. Like a normal TV screen, it doesn't get hot. A normal computer monitor, it doesn't get hot. The screen in the Mitsubishi Mirage, it doesn't get hot at all, unless the sun's on it. But this, for some reason, gets... How do I explain it? It won't burn you. It just gets uncomfortably hot when you're touching it. So, like, if you're touching it for a long period of time, it may actually burn you. I kind of doubt it, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just weirdly hot. I wouldn't expect it to be as hot as it is. It's kind of alarming. Comfort-wise, the seats are actually very good, alright? Only complaint I have about comfort on the whole drive is the armrest. So the armrest for the seat is down here, okay? For me, that's too low. I'd like to have an armrest right here. I don't know, I just like that position. And this is literally like sandpaper. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you can hear it, but it wears my elbow out, even with a jacket on, over time. It's actually uncomfortable. So I'm using a yellow pillow, the yellow happy face pillow I use in the Mirage, as an armrest, because that absolutely sucks right here. Why I don't know. Like, in the Mirage, it's also plastic here, but at least the plastic is not rough. It's smooth plastic. Somewhat like, I don't know, it's similar to, like, this kind of plastic here. Not quite as, like, rough. That's a lot worse. The steering wheel is telescope and goes up and down, which is nice, alright? That's a nice thing. I use it all the way pushed in and all the way up, but if you want it to be out further, you can do that in here. That's not a problem. And what else is there? Oh, this stuff down here. Alright, so you can put the car in eco mode by pressing this button 5 times. The problem is, when you put it in eco mode, turn the car off, turn it back on, you probably would want it in the same mode you left it in, eco, for example. Well, no, it doesn't. It goes back to normal mode every single time. So you have to manually press the button 5 times to get it back into eco mode every single time you start the car. Hey, it's me in a voiceover. So I just want to say, it's not 5 times you have to press the button all the time. It's 5 times if the car was just started and you just want to quickly put it in eco mode. Though if you didn't just start the car and it's been running for a while, you only have to press the button 4 times. Why? Well, I don't know. One theory I have is maybe it's something to do with the car still starting, and also it has a whole bunch of warning messages on the screen. Also, you might wonder, why does it matter how many times? Couldn't you just see it on the dash? Yes and no. If you just start the car, it has warning messages like, oh, your seatbelt's buckled. Oh, the doors are closed. Oh, I don't know, there's just a lot of messages on the screen. They aren't really too useful in the way that it blocks view of what mode you're in. I wish that didn't exactly happen and you could just immediately see what mode you're in and change it. But you can't. You have to go press OK a whole bunch of times on the steering wheel or wait like 30 or 40 seconds for everything to disappear. Then you can see the mode selector. Alright, another thing I want to say is the truck, it has eco mode and normal mode and sport mode, alright? Normal mode, the truck can coast and it doesn't use that much regenerative braking, which means it charges the battery. But then sport mode and eco mode use significantly more regenerative braking, which means it puts more battery inside the battery. It puts more charge inside the battery, and it also slows the truck down significantly more. It doesn't use the brake pads. It uses motors to regenerate the battery or charge the battery. Now, that's a nice thing and all, though the thing is, when you turn the car off, let's say you are used to driving it in eco mode, you turn the car off, turn it back on, and then it's, let's say, in normal mode. So then you're coasting to a light, and you're wondering, why isn't the car slowing down? And it just keeps on coasting, okay, slowing down a little bit, but it keeps coasting full speed towards the light, and then finally you have to, like, suddenly slow down rather rapidly because you forgot to put the car in eco mode, and it's in normal mode, and it's not regenerative braking as much. One other thing to note is the braking. So the car has regenerative braking, it's a hybrid. Most hybrids, if not all of them, have regenerative braking. Though the thing is, in normal mode, the truck will coast a significant amount of distance while regenerating the battery. Though when you have it in eco mode, it's kind of like a one-pedal drive. You can almost get away without pressing the brake pedal. The car aggressively regenerates the battery as it slows down rather quickly without using the brakes, which is quite nice. And I do use that feature a lot in eco mode. And when I forget to put the truck in eco mode because it takes itself out for some reason every single time I start the truck I mean, I expect the truck to rapidly regenerate the battery while I step on. Alright, without getting into super big detail, let me explain real quick why it's not good slowing down quickly. So, the truck charges the battery when you use something called regenerative braking. But when you press the brake pedal down a lot, when you're trying to slow down fast, it uses the actual brake pads like you would have in your average car. Mitsubishi, Mirage, Chevy, Impala, any car really that's not a hybrid. And that's fine. though it's not the most efficient. Instead of capturing all the momentum of the truck and putting it into the battery, so when you step on the electric pedal or hybrid pedal, the gas pedal, instead of accelerating in mostly electric mode, you'll be accelerating more in gas mode. So it's a little bit less efficient. It's more efficient to capture all of the speed, charge the battery, and then when you step on the gas, you're more in electric mode, which saves fuel and it's more efficient. So slowing down at the last moment is not really a good thing for efficiency. And being that this is the hybrid version of the car, you probably want better gas mileage. So why not just leave it in eco mode if you leave it in there when you turn the car off? I don't quite understand. The parking brake is a bit confusing. It works, there's a few things I don't exactly like about it. Let's say you start the car almost immediately and you push down on it. It doesn't work. You can keep pressing down on it for a while, and after like 5 or 6 seconds, then it will finally disengage. If you have to push down to turn it off and pull up to turn it on. It's electronic, it works fine, it's just, you have to wait for the car to start. People do complain about the gear selector on these cars, like how it's just a knob. I don't see the problem with it. I would prefer it to be an actual gear lever like in the Mitsubishi Mirage or the Toyota Prius, but it isn't. And that's okay. It works. It works better than the parking brake, so I can't exactly complain about that. Over here, it looks like there's wireless charging, but there isn't. Instead, actually, there might be. Nope, I'm not going to say there isn't because I don't know. I haven't checked it. Never mind. Either way, over here, there is 2 types of USB. There's USB-C and USB-A. You can charge your phone or use Android or Apple CarPlay through that. It works fine. Now, one complaint I have about the car is it has a key. Sort of. So, in the Mirage, I don't mind the fact it has a key. You put the key in, you crank it, and you get to listen to the engine crank. I don't know, I just like that. But in this car, it doesn't make any sense to me why there's a key, okay? You put the key in, okay? The car is running. You have no input about the car starting. That's not a problem, it works fine. But you don't even get the feeling of starting a car with this because it doesn't make any starting noises or anything. It's just as like pressing a button on the computer, except it's in a key. I really think it should have been a push button start. I'm pretty sure it is on a higher end model, but this isn't the higher end model, this is the base model, but it probably wouldn't cost them much more at all to make it a button instead of a key. Oh well. Also, there's a few other things about the key. So, thing number 1, the key has a little white button on it, alright, or silver button. You can press the button, I cannot do it in that position, but you press the button and the key folds out. That's fine, though when the key is folded out, it's fun doing this by the way, but when the key is folded out, it's a little bit loose. I don't know how that exactly works for reliability. It feels like it's firm, but it's a loose feeling at the same time. I don't know if it's going to break at like 5-year mark or if it will be fine. It just is a little bit concerning feeling. So, you know how I said it doesn't make sense why they didn't have push button start? Well, another thing to add to that, you can start the car with your phone with the Ford Pass app. So, you can be somewhere, you can press a button on the app and it starts your car. So, why can't you just have a push button start? I mean, it already has something set up so you can start it wirelessly. You might as well do it with the key too. It doesn't make sense to me. Another complaint I have about the truck, well, specifically the trim level of the truck. This is the base model, alright? Those mirrors are not automatic. When I say automatic, I mean, for example, on the Mitsubishi Mirage or literally every car except this one, the base model has electronic mirrors. You press a button usually down here and it moves the mirrors around so you don't have to get out and push them manually. But not this car. So how you adjust the driver mirror is you have to start the car, roll the window down, which doesn't add, okay, I'll get into the window later, the window's broken, either way, and then finally once you have the window open, then you can adjust this all over the place. Now, if you get a higher end model of the car or something called Copilot 360, which is an add-on, you can get automatic mirrors, but otherwise you have to actually get this manually. So if 2 different sized people are driving the car, yeah, you have to sit here and do that all the time. It's not a problem until you have to deal with that mirror. Then you have the game of, oh, well, I can't, like, reach that mirror, so you have to get out of the car, go all the way over there, adjust the mirror, hope it's right, come back over here, sit down, oh, it's wrong, then you have to go back and forth like 5 times until you get it right. Is it possible to adjust the mirrors correctly? Yes, it's just a pain, especially when, well, you don't have a button. You have to literally walk all the way over there. But it works. Just to give you an idea of how low-tech that is, most older cars, like from 2005, they have automatic mirrors with a button. Only the absolute base models of those cars would end up having a little lever inside the car, usually right where the mirror is on the door, and you can wiggle it around. Sure, it's not as convenient as a button, but you can reach across the car and like move the little like lever around and adjust the mirror on the passenger side and the driver's side. You don't have to get out of the car to go and reach the mirror. But very few, at least somewhat higher end cars, when I say higher end, I mean not Geo Metro end, I mean Honda Civic wise, they at least have a lever. Not, you have to get out and manually move the mirror on the outside of the car because there's no levers or anything. That is like manual mirrors. It is shockingly low tech, especially for a hybrid car like this, which has eco mode, sport mode, tow haul mode, all these high-end things, but not automatic mirrors, or at least manual mirrors with a lever. It's weird. Do you hear that? Yeah. The window makes weird groaning noises, and to add to that, I rolled the window down the other day, and it didn't go back up. I had to sit there and wiggle the window around until it finally went back up. So something is wrong with the motor inside the window. I need to go get that checked out, because it's not supposed to do that, I'm relatively sure. Another thing to note is this. The buttons here don't exactly work. When I say that, I mean they work fine to a point. So you really need to push the button down. Okay, not like that hard, but you have to push the button like very firmly to actually make it do anything. Sometimes this button doesn't work at all.
Phone voice assistant
like that time it worked.
Connected phone.
Let's click it.
Phone voice assist. Phone voice assist. Phone voice assist. Phone voice assistant requires a connected phone.
Okay, it worked.
Phone voice assistant
Sometimes it doesn't work.
A connected phone.
Sometimes I have to press it like a dozen times for it to work. Sometimes it works first try. That time it was first try. Sometimes it doesn't work. Another weird complaint I have is even if the air conditioner fan is set manually, it seems like there's a loose wire. So when I'm driving down the road, the fan goes on off, 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 just while you're driving, but faster than that. So the air coming out of it is very inconsistent and you can hear it. But then it goes away. It only happened to me twice in 2,500 miles, so it's not a constant problem. It'd be hard to diagnose. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not going to dig into it. I'll see if Ford can figure it out. I highly doubt they will, being that it's very, very intermittent. I doubt they will because it's a very, very intermittent problem. Another minor complaint is the rear door seals. They are, at least on this part, seeming to be falling off. Like, I don't know if you can, oh, I'm falling over. Do you see that right there? It's like all wrinkled. And over here, it looks a bit wonky as well. Like, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. And it happens to be on the other side as well. I don't know if that's on all of these cars or if it's just on this one. And this side is a little bit worse. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly supposed to happen, but maybe it is. I don't know. Another problem is the tailgate lock. When we got it, the tailgate lock didn't work. I had to put some oil in there and wiggle the key around for a while, and finally it started working, so now the tailgate lock works. Another thing to note, we got a bed liner. It's not from Ford, but we got a bed liner, and it does bed lining things, though because it's a cheaper bed liner, it leaks. It's not supposed to leak, but it does, so everything inside gets wet. Yeah, I don't like that about trucks. I really don't understand the point of daily driving one, but that's fine. I'm just saying that's one downside of a truck. That's not the trunk. That is. Which is not good when you try to actually have people in the back seat. Yeah, either way, the back cigarette lighter, it works fine. There's no complaints for the back seat. What else is there to complain about? The transmission is leaking oil. That's a slightly major problem. Well, it's not a problem right now. We're going to get Ford to look at it. Basically, where the transmission meets the engine, there is an oil leak. It's not a big oil leak, but it is leaking oil. I noticed it when I was changing the engine oil. You have to take a plastic cover off the bottom of the car, and the plastic cover was covered in oil. And, well, there's a big area where it's leaking. It's just like a big line, and it's all leaking along that line, just very, very, very slowly. So other than those few things I mentioned, like the transmission leaking oil, I don't like that at all. But besides that, the door seal's falling off, the driver window not working sometimes and making horrible noises, the infotainment system lagging, getting super hot, the button's not working right, Eco keeps turning off every time you start the car, and the button's not working half the time you try to press them. The truck has been fine. Again, I don't like how the doors are so rough because you put your elbow on them. I would have made them at least plastic that wasn't so rough. That is what it is. The truck has been quite comfortable. I'm going to get in the truck, actually. It's raining. The truck has been quite comfortable on the drive to Florida. Going to be driving it back to California, of course. Like, this rain came out of nowhere. Going to be driving it back to California. The truck has been very quiet. It doesn't get blown around on the road like the Mirage. It's, I guess the word would be more refined than the Mirage. Like, you don't hear as much road noise. You don't get blown around. It's kind of like you're playing a video game. It doesn't have a very engaging feeling. Basically, think of a Cadillac in terms of how it drives. That's about how it drives. It's quiet. You don't feel many bumps. You don't get blown around. For some, that's great. For others, that's not. I find the truck has plenty of power, though I really don't drive it hard. I floored it once, and that was it. There's a tachometer or a power meter on here, and I rarely go over 20% of the car's power when even merging on the freeway. It gets to around 50 miles an hour at the end of the on-ramp if I'm giving it 2 out of 10 bars, or roughly, or however many bars there is. So, yeah, I find the power perfectly fine. It drives similar to the Mirage. There's, of course, sport mode and all the other modes on here, I don't know. Auto air conditioning, it works good. The horn works, I think. I've not pressed it. Does it work? Yeah, it works. To this point, I have never pressed a horn. One thing I've heard is somehow opening the door and closing it, people end up locking the door. I don't exactly understand how, and then they keep locking themselves out. My mom did that several times. I don't understand how they do it, but they do it. Something with the lock design. You end up locking the door by mistake. Also, the base model does not have adaptive cruise control or lane keeping assist. That's fine. It does have regular cruise control though, which works perfectly fine. Though if you get the higher end model, which is the Ford Maverick XL with the base 360, it gives you a lane keep assist. It basically bounces you between the lanes. It's the drunk. Okay, there's 2 levels of lane keep assist. Well, there's 3 levels. There's level number 1, blind. That's what we have here. It does nothing. Literally nothing. There's a level 2, which is drunk lane keep assist. It goes bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong between the lanes, and you'll get pulled over for drunk driving, basically. And then there's level 3. It's a higher end version, and it actually is sort of like the Tesla driving system, from my understanding. It's not as good, but it at least doesn't go between the lanes. So that is a nice thing. Holy rain. This is wild. I'm not a Floridian. This is weird to me. I can't speak much for backseat comfortability. The reason why is I have never sat back there because it's always been full of stuff, because this is a truck and you can't really put things in the bed because it leaks. I really don't understand the point of daily driving it outside of for work. But it seems like people can get away with it, so it is what it... Holy smokes! What is falling from the sky right now? You know, let's show you the wipers. The wipers on this thing work great. If I can find the key. Let's show you the wipers. Holy smokes, Thunderstorm and Tesla in the same video. Yeah, the wipers in this work great. They are not automatic, I think. Well, actually, they might be. I don't know. I've never actually looked into it. I don't know. It has a good windshield washer sprayer. But other than that, though, it's a car. Oh, that's falling off. That's moderately concerning, I guess. Was that an airbag behind there? I don't know. So in terms of reliability, I don't know how the truck is, because from the first 3,985.4 miles, it doesn't seem so good. Over 1 issue per 1,000 miles. But I'll give you more updates as the truck ages, but overall, 46 miles per gallon from a pickup truck. That is pretty impressive, I must say. Very impressive, actually. But in terms of reliability or quality, it seems less so than the cheapest car on the market, which is the Mitsubishi Mirage. I don't understand how that exactly works. I would expect this to be nicer. Okay, sure, it's quieter, but like, I don't know. There's just so many things that are done slightly wrong on this, or poorly at least. It's surprising. Like the door seals falling off, the center screen backup camera being horrendous. But it would at least be nice if it was 720 or 1080p or something, 480p. Either way, I've been blabbing on long enough, so thank you for watching, and have a good day. Wow, this is a lot of rain. Where is it all coming from?